everyone, welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting and our weekly look back at the hot comics from 6 months ago. Yes, this is our regular weekly video. I did do a bonus look back for 4 years on Thursday. If you haven't checked that out, go check it out. This is our regular look back. This week we're looking back at the hot comics from November 1st, 2024. I'm recording this on May 1st, 2025. I had to think about that for a second. As always, I give you those dates so you know when this information is most relevant. We're also, as always, looking back at the CBSI Hot Top 10 and the Comic Tom Key Collector Hottest Trending Comics of the Week. Each week they each put out a list of 10, and we kind of combine those two lists, and we look and see how they're doing in the market 6 months later. Should you have been patient? Are these hot books like still going strong? Should you have been patient? Should you have jumped in? And what factors affected them? Like, why were they on the list to start with? And what's affected them since that maybe guides when you should jump in on a book, when you should be patient on a book. So we've been doing this for 6+ years. Let's dig in this week. First up, let's see if we can get this stuff added here. First up, we got Emily the Strange, #1. This is hitting the list because it was optioned for an animated movie by Warner Brothers. 15 all the way up to 50, but then like right at the end, there was an $80 sale, there was a $99 sale, so there was a couple of really, really high sales. So right as it was hitting the list right at the end of the week. So this book people were jumping on. Now it's a $40 to $50 book. So we're going to call it steady because most of the sales were in that like toward the end were like there were several like $40, $50 sales. And then there was those two outliers of $80 and $99. Obviously you paid the $80 and $99, not $80 and $99 and it's a dumpster fire. But if you were staying where it was kind of mostly selling, it's just, it's a pretty much steady. I'll be back. Still a lot of value here, more than you would typically get with just an option news book this much later. Usually they don't even hold on this strong. This one is held on pretty strong here. All right. Next, we got Halloween #1. This hits the list this was obviously the week of Halloween. Every year this book hits the list. Every year the pattern has been the same. This year it's a little different. Previously, like $75 book back then for raw copies, 9.8, $4.50. Raw copies, although there is a lot of variation, probably the average is closer to 50-ish now as opposed to the 75. But really right in that within the same range. We had only one recent 9.8 sale. It was actually a little more. So this one's actually done better than it normally does here in the spring. So be interesting to see, but it's actually held up much better than it has the previous couple of years when we've talked about this. Next, we're going to move into covers, and we have Godzilla Masterpiece Theater #1, and this is kind of like a concert poster homage. Raw copies 25 to 55 for this 1 in 10. So this was a 1 in 10 Jim Rugg cover. Now 25 to 30. So on the low end, we're going to call it down and I'll be back. 9.8 went for 130, and there was actually a couple of sales right at 130. I think 3 sales total right at 130. So yeah, this book has still got a lot of interest. It is kind of a cool, fun, little different take on a cover. I like it. I don't know that I still like it for this price, but I do kind of like it. Next, we have Mark Spears Monsters #1, the second print hitting the list. Back then it was 10 to 20. Now it's 20 to 50. Like everything Mark Spears Monsters, it is up. 9.8 on this one, 100 to 220. Huge range on the 9.8. I mean, a huge range here. But yeah, overall, this book's going like everything Mark Spears. It's still pretty hot, still up and going strong. All right. Next, we got Grommets #1 from 2024 here. This was a hot new Rick Remender series. I think we're still waiting for the last issue. Been a lot of interest in this series. A lot of people have enjoyed it. A lot of 80s nostalgia here. This is the first print cover A, was hitting the list just because people were just still chasing it. As it was coming out, people were still enjoying the series. It was really just comic buzz. I don't believe there was ever any discussion of it being optioned or anything like that. 15 to 20 back then, still a $10 to $20 book now. 9.8 will cost you around $100. So this has been very, very steady. A great indie read. I'm looking forward to getting the trade when it comes out. So next we got Grommets #5, the 1 in 10 Brett Parson variant. This was going for 40 to 60 back then. Now it's at 20 to 50. So it's a down and I'll be back. So this one hasn't quite held as well, but still a lot of interest in Grommets. Still a lot of value in this particular book. All right, next we have Amazing Spider-Man number 60, the Adam Hughes 1 in 100 Virgin variant. There is a regular trade dress version of this, which actually has word bubbles and everything. Back then, this 1 in 100 was doing 150 to 185, which is kind of the minimum for a 1 in 100 to even think about being hot. Now it's an 80 to 150, so it's down in a trap. Most of the sales are closer to $100. 9.8, 271, but that's just the one sale. This one's actually done, even for a 1 in 100, the fact that it's still going pretty much around ratio to slightly above is really good, especially when there's a trade risk version. So this is actually outperformed your usual 1 in 100 with an identical trade dress version. They usually don't do quite this well. So still down in a trap, but yeah, it's still holding up pretty good value. Next, we got Ultimate X-Men number 6. The first cameo appearance of Ultimate Wolverine. So we were finally getting Ultimate Wolverine in this new Ultimate Universe. So people were chasing this book, but it's like a 400% increase in sales, according to Tom, but it was still basically going for cover price. It's still basically going for cover price right now. Not a ton of sales right now. This really hasn't moved the needle. I think people are enjoying the Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Wolverine side of things, but not enough to move it like they are, like to drive value like it is with like Ultimate Spider-Man. All right, next we have Batman, The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, number 0. This was the free comic book day, or free Batman comic to start the new final Long Halloween story from Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. Obviously, Tim Sale is not with us, and Jeff was kind of finishing this up and putting this out. I read the first couple issues and decided I'm just going to wait and get the trade for this particular one. But yeah, this free comic book day book was going for anywhere from $15 to $40. A lot of people chasing this particular book. Now it's a $10 to $20 book, which is still amazing prices for a new comic book day, but definitely a trap if you paid $40 before. 9.6 would cost you $60. So yeah, so for a free book, still big money, just not quite the high-end sales that we were getting back in the fall. Next, we have Absolute Batman number 1, the Ash Can. Obviously, we hadn't quite gotten to issue number 2 yet. I think we'll get to why this was re-hitting the list after a few weeks. $50 to $100 for the Ash Can that came out at San Diego Comic-Con that people were still chasing. Now 10 to 75, so overlapping that lower end, but definitely some bargains can be had. Overall, we'll definitely call this a trap. Mid is like more like $30 now. 9.8, 150, 160, multiple sales right in that range. Still a lot of interest in Absolute Batman. I kind of lost my interest, but still a lot of people enjoying this and chasing it. And it sounds like it's going to be around for a while. Absolute Batman number 1, the second print. This is why we were getting the Ash Can back on the list. $15 back then, $5 to $20 now, but most of the sales are $5 to $10. So down and I'll be back. $60 to $80 on 9.8 on this one. Still some value here for a second print of this book. Like I said, still a lot of interest here. And then we got Absolute Batman number 1, the 1 in 25 of the second print, the black and white version. This was going 55 to 105 back then. I don't know what to say about what it's going for now. It's 6 to 90, and literally there's sales all throughout that range. This book is like a little all over the place. And then you get 9.8s that are going for 35 and to 60. There's like 3 or 4 sales there in that range. But you have raw sales 90. There was like an 80. I think there was like an 85, maybe then a 70. There were sales through the range. So overall, it comes down, and I'll be back because you can definitely get bargains for under that $55 before. And actually, you can get for a lot depending on the sale you find. But yeah, weird pricing on this one for sure. Sometimes it's hard to understand what's going on with the book. This is one of those where the prices are just sort of all over the place. Next, we have Absolute Wonder Woman number 1. This was the second week of Absolute Wonder Woman being out. This Jim Lee foil version, which I believe was a 1 in I forget what the Jim Lee foil was. I did not write it down. It is an incentive of some level. $25 to $35 back then. Raw copies 10 to 25 now, 9.8, 45. So definitely down in a trap. No reason to have chased this one. This is a book I have really enjoyed. I'm enjoying the second story arc. I think maybe even more than the first so far. So yeah, looking forward to more of Absolute Wonder Woman. And then we have Absolute Wonder Woman number 1, the Dan Panosian 1 in 25. This one was going for $35 to $65 back then. Still $35 to $65. This has been super steady. 9.8, just under $100. I don't know that this is sort of the variant, I guess, of number 1. That's doing the best consistently. There's a couple of them that are doing okay, but this is probably the one that's doing the best consistently, price-wise. All right. Lots of books that are the same. So we're moving fairly quickly through this week's list. Next, we're moving to MCU. We got Wonder Man number 1. $10. His first solo ongoing. So there was a solo one-shot before this, but this was his first solo ongoing. This book has hit the list a bunch of times. It never really went for much. $10 for raw copies, 9.8 for 30. It costs more to slab it than they were getting for it. Now it's 1 to 10, 20 to 60 for 9.8. I still call this down, and I'll be back. No reason to chase this book. We got more news that Wonder Man's still coming. They're still working on it, blah, blah, blah. I think we maybe get some more additional casting stuff. But yeah, still not super close to getting this. And this book, there's a lot of these. This book doesn't necessarily go for very much still. Next, we have Avengers Annual number 10, first appearance of Rogue. So there were rumors that Billie Eilish is going to play Rogue. I don't know where those came from. I'm putting them in the same place all those Taylor Swift rumors were at. I would ignore them. But 40 to 150, depending on condition, on a raw copy back then. 6 to 700 on 9.8. 30 to 140 on raw. So basically the same, very steady. 600 to 800 on a 9.8 now. So we're going to call it steady and worth it. A couple of raw 9.8 sales a little higher, but everything else is really right in the same range. A terrific book. One I've yet to get and probably should at some point. All right, next. Daredevil number 131, first appearance of Bullseye, and basically the trailer for Daredevil Born Again, which just wrapped or just finished releasing. We got the trailer. We got a glimpse of Bullseye. That was causing us to hit the list. You can see here, it's basically the same price as it was back then. We did have one 9.8 sale that was a little higher. But overall, everything is pretty much right in line. 9.2s are up with just a touch. But yeah, classic Bronze Age villain key. Should be worth something. It's going to be worth something no matter what, whether he's showing up at shows or not. Obviously, the show has given it a very slight bump, but it's staying pretty steady here. It doesn't hurt that the show literally just finished. And then we got Amazing Spider-Man 129. Same reason. Got a glimpse of Frank in the trailer. We know Frank was a big part of the show. Another book that's basically setting in exactly the same range as it was before. Yeah, this is, if you're buying the first appearance of the Punisher because of he's appearing in a show, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you should just be buying it because it's the first appearance of the Punisher. I don't feel like the show really doesn't affect the value on this book. It may drive sales, but it doesn't really affect the value on a book like this very much. So that is it. That is this week's list. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Yeah, we've been doing this for a long time. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying this new format. Before I get out of here, we'll have to do a quick, let's do the quick look back here. And I forgot to update the other slide, but so you guys are going to get slide this week because I forgot to update it and I'm not going to pause it. So we'll thank our members. Bear Island, Old Wolf, Monterey, Circumstances, Unruly, Balls at 16, Carlito Classico, Jake Carter, Jimmy Walker, Beck Canto, Lisa No, Planning the Younger, Rad, Art Comics, Ryan Pratt, Horvath, Aggressively Relaxing, and Taylor Winder, and then Daymares and He Remains in my Nightwing tier. I appreciate all of you for the support. I apologize for the summary slide, but hey, stuff happens. So this is, now you know I record these live. So thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you next time. Later.